For Digitas, this is HPE Radio at ID 1HPE0349000. Spot title HPE Episode 2 English Radio, 30 seconds long, Mixed Harbor on October 25th, 2023.
So, how do we get AI right?
Well, we need the right volume of data, the software to train it, and massive compute power, or...
Another one bites the dust. Are you ready? Hey, are you ready for this? Are you hanging on the edge of your seat?
But with HPE GreenLake, we get access to supercomputing to power AI at the scale we need, helping generate better insights.
All right.
Nice teamwork, guys.
Search HPE GreenLake.
Welcome to the Human Capital Innovations Podcast, your go-to source for personal, professional, and organizational growth and development. We hope you tune in often for all things people management, organizational development and change, organizational leadership, and social impact related. Maximize your personal and organizational potential with Human Capital Innovations Podcast. Welcome to the Human Capital Innovations Podcast. In this HCI podcast episode, I talk with Preity Üpala about purpose, intention, and finding our bigger why. Preity Üpala, welcome to the Human Capital Innovations Podcast.
Namaste, Jonathan, and namaste to your wonderful audience. It's an honor to be here on your show with you.
Yeah, I am so thrilled to have the chance to talk with you. You have such an illustrious background and career. You've done so many amazing things. I'll share a little bit of that with the listeners here in just a moment. But it really is going to be a fun discussion today as we focus on the idea of purpose and intention and how we can find our bigger why in life and in work and in our interactions and relationships with others. As we get started, I just wanted to share Preeti's bio with everybody. Ms. Preity Üpala is a former investment banker turned thought leader, media personality, and Hollywood entrepreneur. Global peace dominates the forefront of her life and drives her to connect people through a series of spiritual endeavors and media productions. The former Miss India International has also appeared in numerous commercials, TV, and movie productions across 4 continents and worked in Bollywood and Hollywood. She is a global brand ambassador for several lifestyle brands and born in Dubai, Preity spent her formative years in India, United Arab Emirates, France, and Australia. This multicultural upbringing and exposure fetched her uniquely enriched comprehension of global cultures and values. Having traveled to more than 100 countries and speaking 5 languages, Preity has established herself as a global citizen whose work is always defined by an international sensibility. And I could go on and on and on about all of your involvement in various organizations and nonprofits and humanitarian work and all of your career successes. You've just done so many amazing things, and I'm so excited to have the chance to chat with you. Before we dive on into our discussion, anything else that you would like to highlight or would like to share with the listeners by way of background and personal context?
No, you did such a wonderful job with my bio. I think the topic that we're going to speak about is actually the central theme of my own life in a way. So as we delve in deeper, I think we can connect the dots in my own life. I'm sort of a walking, talking example of someone who has actually taken the road less traveled and gone with purpose and intention alone. So I think as we go in, the picture becomes more clear.
Excellent. And I love how you frame yourself as a global citizen, traveling to 100 plus countries, speaking 5 languages. I feel a little sheepish. I consider myself a bit of a world traveler, and I do a lot of international research, a lot of work with international organizations, but I definitely haven't hit 100 countries, and I definitely don't speak 5 languages. I speak 2 languages pretty well. I speak a couple others, just a little bit, but I'm always jealous of others, who just have a passion for that and pick it up as they go throughout their lives. Here in the U.S., it's one of the sad reflections, I think, of our society, that people just don't tend to be as globally minded as other parts of the world, and people don't tend to speak as many languages as they do in other parts of the world, which is kind of sad. And anyways, I appreciate the framing, and I appreciate your background and how you'll be able to contribute to the discussion.
Yeah, I think one of the great thrills of life and living is actually to be able to travel around and see different cultures and realize, honestly, after going to almost 100 countries, what I found was how we are more alike than we are different. And around the world, no matter where it is, everybody wants to be loved, they want to be respected, they want to be heard, they want to be understood, they want to be valued. That's it. That's a basic human need. It doesn't matter what the scenery is. I think that was the most important takeaway that I got. And it's a small village out there today because of technology. Yet on the flip side, don't forget that globalization is a wonderful thing, but the other flip side is when we are so entrenched in global supply chains, you end up with the situation that we are in right now as well. So I think it's great to have that international, view and when you think about countries and governances and the legal system and all of that, but you need to make sure that you don't get so dependent on one country only, or so deeply entrenched in these global supply chains, because then you'll be, sort of in the vulnerable situation that we're in today. So you have to sort of enjoy what the world has to offer, but sort of be pragmatic as well. I think that's the big lesson for the new future now.
Yeah, we're in an ever increasing interconnected world, and this pandemic has only demonstrated to us how interconnected we are and how close anyone is, just hopping on a quick Zoom meeting, and you can have that interconnectivity. And it's interesting because I have not as much as you, but I have traveled quite a bit, and I've worked with a lot of different people and organizations around the world. And before the pandemic, what would typically happen is I might have a Skype call or a Zoom call with somebody, maybe a couple of them, but then I would travel to the country and I would spend days, going to and from for even just, a day or two of meetings. And now the technology was there before, but people didn't quite utilize it as much. And certainly my mindset has shifted. So now I'm interacting with people internationally way more than I did before, just because it's so quick and easy, and my mind has shifted towards the use of the technology. And so I'm just connecting with people constantly and having all sorts of amazing discussions and collaborations. So we have that interconnectivity for sure, but we do have to be careful about other kind of bigger picture macro questions as it relates to globalization, as you referred to. So anyways, really great framing. As we talk today about purpose and intention and finding our bigger why, I thought maybe we could start with that purpose piece. What does purpose mean to you, and why is it so important? Not just in not just in the workplace, of course, we want to have purpose at work, but in life generally, and then how does that connect with the workplace?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question, and really the one of the cornerstones of why we do what we do. Now, the word dharma is being used a lot these days, and dharma is one of those Sanskrit intranslatable words where you don't really have an accurate English translation for it, but at the same time it's a versatile word where it has several meanings, and one of those meanings is actually purpose or your path in life, in a spiritual sense, as well as very much in the world as well. So I use that word a lot when I speak sometimes on, with corporate groups and so on. Your dharma really is why you came into the world, in a deeper sense. And obviously that manifests in what you do for a living. Your dharma is your gift to the planet. What is your what are you here to give to the world? How are you going to serve the planet? We've all come in with something special, and for some people maybe it is just being a part of the 9 to 5, because we need that as well to keep the world running. And for some other people it's something very specific. And I think we have to take the time out to figure out what that purpose is. And that's actually the tricky bit. I think once you know who you are and why you're here, then you can go ahead on that path. But the people get stuck at the why bit. They don't even know why I'm here, what is my purpose. And you really have to listen to your inner voice, and it's not as metaphysical as it sounds. I think you just have to be honest with yourself. You have to ask yourself, what am I passionate about? What do I love to do? Because when you love to do something, it's not work. You will usually do very good at it. And when you perform well, guess what? You get rewarded financially, and you have promotions in your career and so on. These things are all connected. So I think I urge people to really take the time out. And this you can do at any age. Obviously, if you do it very young, like in my case, I had a career change. I used to be an investment banker, and then I was a management consultant, but that was not my dharma in life. And I was just thinking, what am I doing sitting here in some office in Sydney? That's not going to change the world. It's just not why I came here. I know that I'm here for something bigger, and I really belong on the global stage. So I sort of got onto I had a sort of an awakening in a way. And it's never easy, because it's a period of uncertainty, unease. I mean, I sort of quit cold turkey. I'm just that kind of a person. And through deep introspection, through being honest with myself and having very important conversations with people that were wise, and in the silence of all of that, I think deep inside these voices started coming up, and I realized, wow, I really think a bigger stage is needed for me. And I don't think Australia is really the place that's going to offer me that. And America came calling, and I just got a glimpse that Hollywood, for me, would be a good platform, because it gives me visibility, but yet I can do what I'm here to do, which is much higher work. I think Hollywood has always just been a platform for me, and nothing much more than that. So it's not easy, but when you do find out who you are, I think you get this sense of relief. And when you read like biographies of great people, they always started off doing something, and they then sort of found themselves exactly where they needed to be, because they were brave and honest, I think. So I think it's important to do that. And if you read that famous book, The Alchemist, that book is all about finding your true destiny, your personal journey in life, because when you do that, the entire universe conspires to make it happen for you. And trust me, this has happened in my life. All I had to do was say yes, and trust me, all the doors opened. And then you just walk in where you need to walk in. But and you have to believe, I think, in magic and in the impossible, or else, because in life you get what you believe in. So if you think it ain't gonna happen for me, well, it ain't gonna happen for you. So I think these things they seem simple, but they're actually profound and much harder than you think to actually practice. But when you do get it right, I think this whole world opens up. It's like a ocean of opportunity, I think, a sea of possibilities in front of you. And there's a sense of deep joy and release, I think. I certainly felt that, for sure. So I urge people to just be honest with what they love and what they're passionate about.
Yeah, well, thank you for sharing your personal a little bit of your personal journey as you've sought out your purpose and tried to understand your why. And I think you hit on several really key pieces there, and one of them being that it is scary. It is scary to upend your life and to pivot and change directions, and it's scary to go against what society or what your family or what other people are telling you should do. You were a successful investment banker. I don't know, but I imagine you were probably making pretty good money. You had your sphere of influence, and you were successful by any definition of that term. People would look at you as someone who was successful, and you decided to upend all of that because you felt a pull and something towards a bigger calling to fulfill a grander purpose. And that takes courage, and it takes us overcoming fear. And I think we all have to wrestle with that to varying degrees, right? And I think in my own personal life, I don't have as grand of a story as you do, but I see many of the similarities. And, I was one of those guys who I switched majors in college a bunch of times, just trying to learn about myself and figure out what I wanted to do and what I was interested in and good at and passionate about. And at one point, I was in finance and accounting, and I was good at it. The problem was I didn't like it. And at one point, I had to make the decision to pivot and to move into something different. That at the time, I think a lot of people thought I was pretty crazy. I was giving up stability. I was giving up kind of a more certain future of a certain amount of success, and I was trading it out for complete uncertainty and just kind of a vision of what my life could be like. And it wasn't till I stepped into the darkness, of that uncertainty, that things started to unfold for me in such a way that where I'm at today is 100 times better than where I thought I would have been at had I stayed on that original path, the more traditional path, the more conservative path, the path that others told me was the right path. Then I wouldn't have gotten to where I am now, and I wouldn't have had the many opportunities that I've had. So it takes a little bit, sometimes just a little bit of courage, take that one step into the darkness, and then slowly but surely things start to lay out in front of you, and you can start to leverage the opportunities that emerge.
I'm excited to announce the publication of my new book from HCI Press, The Alchemy of Truly Remarkable Leadership: Ordinary, Everyday Actions that Produce Extraordinary Results. Consider how the nature of work has shifted over the past 50 years. With increased globalization, rapid technological advancement, and the shift in economic composition, the average job of today looks very different than the average job of 50 years ago. What will the jobs and organizations of tomorrow look like? Moreover, what does this all mean for organizational leaders? What are the core competencies and capabilities of organizations and their leadership that are prepared for continued disruption and geopolitical and socioeconomic shifts? Regardless of what the future holds, increasingly, leaders need to be socially minded, data-driven, decisive, champions of talent, and disruptors of the traditional notions of leadership, teams, organizations, and work. The Alchemy of Truly Remarkable Leadership will help you to explore your own leadership competencies and capabilities and consider ways to apply and implement them into your workplace and personal life.
Yeah, absolutely. When you share your experience with other people, you realize that a lot of people have been through this journey, and it's actually pleasing, I think, to hear that. And we're more similar than alike in that way, all of us. But I think there's a great saying the two most important days of your life are the day you were born and the day you realize why. And I think that's so powerful. And it's so sad that most people never find out that that they never have that second day. They never find out why they were born. And I think it's the few people that choose to find out why they were born, that they eventually do find out. That it's a real gift, it's a blessing. It comes, obviously, it's scary, and it might take you a bit, and sometimes you might have to try a few things. But when you do get it, and you will get there, I think, if you're being honest with yourself, because the answers are within. Trust me, it's beyond the ego and the noise and other people, society around you. The truth is always right there, and even though I say this, I know sometimes I myself don't listen to my own inner voice when it's telling me, do this, go that, go here, speak to this person, get involved in this cause. You just think, no, this is too much of a good thing, or maybe they're not interested or whatnot. But if you do follow your gut instinct, which is your body really telling you, do this or don't do this, because the body is so intelligent, and even your emotions are intelligent. They're always guiding you, and they will never lead you astray. So that's another point. You have to back yourself up, listen to your instincts, and make sure it's not your ego speaking, because the loudest voice is always the ego. So beyond that voice is the quieter voice is actually the truth. So it's there. We all have it. We are all actually very intuitive. It can be developed. We can become incredibly sort of intuitive and psychic almost. So people can develop that, and that's just through silence and breathing and just kind of being with yourself in silence. I think that's the best way. But I think when you back yourself up, then the world also does that. That's what I've noticed. When nobody's going to be as excited about you as you are yourself, and if you don't believe in yourself, nobody else is going to. So just have the pride, and instead of this overt confidence, which I think nobody really likes, have this quiet inner knowingness. I think this deep certainty, and it comes from a rooted place, which you don't have to explain yourself. It's just there. People can see it, and they know that you're legit and you mean what you say, and they believe in you, and they believe in your journey, and they will support you. That's how you get, whether you're raising money or you're whatever it is that you're setting up. People, they buy. They don't sign up for ideas. They sign up for people that they believe in and respect. So never forget, I think, the power of, I guess, the human condition, that emotional connect, and that only comes if you really have that connect with yourself, and how much do you believe in your cause, for sure.
Yeah, and it starts with that intentionality, right? That you've spoken to several times. It requires introspection, self-reflection. It requires you to be mindful and quiet your mind and just be at peace with yourself. Until we can do that, it's going to be really hard to listen to that inner voice. And different cultures and different religious perspectives have different ways of and different terminologies for what that might be. But the bottom line is that we all have that something inside us that we can tune into, and as we quiet our minds, then we have a chance to hear it and to then follow it. And it can be scary because oftentimes it's telling us to do something that's different than what society is telling us to do, or what conventional wisdom is telling us to do, or what important people in our lives, might be telling us to do. And it doesn't mean that everything's going to work out immediately either. I suspect that you've had your failures and your setbacks. I've certainly had many. So even that, as I pivoted and started to go down a different direction in life, it's not a perfectly linear type of a path. Like, there's ups and downs, and there's setbacks, and there's growth opportunities. And, for every success I've had failures to go along with them. but it's usually the failures and the setbacks have then put me in a position for the next great opportunity that then manifests itself. So as long as I keep a positive attitude, and as long as I keep a growth mindset, then I can leverage everything that comes at me towards growth and towards fulfilling the potential that I see for myself.
Yeah, that's so true. You mentioned my own journey. Yes, I moved here. I bought a one-way ticket from Sydney to LA, and I didn't know anyone. I'd never been to America before. Certainly never been to LA, and I really didn't know anything except that I was coming to the right place, and that this was the place where it was all going to happen for me. And I came with just a small suitcase, but a lot of conviction. And I must say, from the very first step, from first evening that I landed in LA, it's been magical ever since. I just trusted my instinct, but I've been here for 10 years, and that's a long time in Hollywood, and I've had so many days and times where you just don't see any light at the end of the tunnel, because this is a very nebulous industry. And I come from a family background, or an industry, or a mindset even of things being very certain and clear and predictable almost, to being really you're not sure what's happening tomorrow. But for me, that's also exciting. It's an adventure. It was never daunting for me. I think I had a good attitude about it, but it can be very, very frustrating. And I've had my own frustrating times, but I kept at it. And I also, my own spiritual journey kind of developed also in these years, where I just sort of I surrender, I think, to the flow more. So I'm not fighting things at every end, and I'm accepting it and being very intentional, of course, but kind of being true to the path too. And it's taking me where it needs to take me. So I always find myself in the right place. But the intention is important, what we touched on before. I think you have to find something bigger than yourself, because the happiness doesn't come from money or fame or success even. It's not the titles or the achievements. It's the difference that you can make in the world. And have you affected anybody else's life while you've been here, during your time here, even in a sort of a career capacity, corporate capacity, let's say, because one can do that. But that is the true mark. And when you know that you've affected people, even one other person, through what you've said or written or done or stood for, it touches them. But I think the joy that you get is priceless. And money and fame, if you work just for money and fame, you get all of that good stuff, but it's all fleeting. It's all an illusion anyway. But it won't give you any meaning or purpose or joy in your life. And the real bliss you get is actually when you know that you're doing something beyond yourself. And I think from an energetic perspective, if your why is actually greater than yourself, you have a greater chance of manifesting it. Because if it does manifest into form, then guess what? More people than just yourself will be benefited, right? And so even from that perspective, that more people will gain if your dream comes alive. So why won't the universe help your dream come alive? Whereas most people, they're just thinking about themselves. It's very small thinking. They're playing a small game, and they may get what they want, but it's not the real thing, and it doesn't affect anybody beyond them anyway. So I think the finding the intention and making sure it's an authentic one is important. And also, I think finding a social cause in some way, and it doesn't have to be anything elaborate, but I think if you somehow get involved with some organization or a group of people doing something for society at large in some way, I think it's just it gives you another element that you simply don't get, even if you're doing something passionate. I think when you're working for betterment of the world in some way, and it's almost selfless because you might not even, this might be volunteer for you. You might not even be getting paid for it. But I think some of the joy that you get from selfless service is very priceless. I've noticed this in my own life, and that's why people do get involved. Even it could even be something religious or spiritual sometimes, and it's just, I think the quality of what you get is a deep, it kind of affects you as a human being, and then you actually have gratitude in your life. You realize how much you have. I think that's missing. That element of giving and gratitude is missing in the world, and also definitely among the corporates, because I think they just don't have the bandwidth or they think they don't have the bandwidth to think on those terms, but they do actually. They can have the most impact for sure.
Well, I love all of everything you said, and I completely agree. I think there's so much opportunity that we have to make an impact in the world as we search out and find our bigger why, our bigger purpose, as we're authentic and really do the hard work of trying to know and understand ourselves better, which will allow us to know and understand others better and understand how we can make our mark on the world, not for status, not for prestige and for fame, but make our mark on the world to help and lift others around us. Preity, it has been a real pleasure talking with you today. We're about out of time, but before we close, I just wanted to give you the last word and give you a chance to share with the listeners how they can reach out and get connected with you and find out more about what you're doing.
Oh, thank you so much. What a great conversation. It was very organic. I'm usually prepared with these things, but I didn't have a chance to do anything since yesterday evening. But it's been maybe such a perfect conversation. I think everything we needed to touch on, we did. Thank you so much again for having me on your show. I just want to leave the audience with this point that I think if COVID has taught us anything, it's how connected we are. How small the world is, and how moving forward, I think we need to work with each other more. We need to collaborate. We're all in this together. We truly are in every sense of the word. And this is actually a beautiful thing because we're all feeling the pain. And look, there is a paradigm shift going on. There is absolutely a silver lining. The planet needed this in more ways than one, and we will come out of this stronger and brighter. Just hang in there, be positive. It's so important to be uplifted. I am all over on social media, and I am very engaging with my listeners and people who reach out. So find me on Facebook. I have a public figure page. It's just my name, Preity Üpala. My Twitter handle is the Preity Effect. Please catch me on Twitter. On YouTube, if you type in Preity Üpala, again, I have my own channel and I have a lot of content. I write a lot on spirituality and purpose and culture. So my website is being designed as we speak. But if you just Google my name and write spirituality or dharma, purpose, any of these things, I think a ton of articles will come out, and possibly some videos too. And Instagram, don't use it that much, probably should use it more, but it's just Preity U. So, and my website when it's up is just preetyupala.com. So please connect with me and find me. Love to hear from your audience. And thank you again for having me on your show.
Thank you again. It's been a pleasure. I encourage my listeners to reach out, to get connected. And I hope everyone stays healthy and safe, that they can find meaning and purpose at work each and every day. And I hope everyone has a great week.
We are excited about the launch of HCI's new magazine, Human Capital Leadership. Human Capital Leadership is a free, interactive e-magazine designed to help individuals, leaders, and organizations find innovative approaches to maximize their human capital potential. We will be publishing issues quarterly in August, November, February, and May. Check out the first issue and let us know what you think. Thanks again for joining us for this episode of the Human Capital Innovations Podcast. I hope you stay healthy and safe and that you have a great week. Check out our new weekly LinkedIn newsletter, Alchemizing Human Capital, exploring industry trends via original research and interviews with executives and thought leaders from across the globe. We look forward to having you join us.